started and take care of at least some of the business, and we'll duly note when they arrive. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's joint study session between the Council and the Youth Commission. I know we're not supposed to play favorites, but this happens to be one of my favorite evenings, just because it's so motivating and inspiring to see the next generation of public servants that we hope to grow. So thank you all for joining us. As with all of our previous commission study sessions, we'll have an opportunity to hear from our commissioners, thank them for their service to our town, and engage in what were some of the areas that the commission worked on, their priorities, and ultimately how we can do better. I think that's the purpose of the commission, the Youth Commission, how we can better serve our youth. And we'd love to hear from not only the chair and the vice chair, but those that are present and willing to share their opinions on how it went and what else we can do. And so with that, if we could begin with roll call.
Thank you and good evening. Commissioner Raza. And if you can turn your videos on, the youth commissioners, and then as I call your name, if you can just say here.
Here.
Okay. Commissioner Balasingham.
Yes, here.
Sorry. Commissioner Vaja. And I'm sorry if I'm saying your name correctly.
That's fine.
Commissioner Mather.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Desai.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Scott.
Here.
Commissioner Stanley.
Here.
Commissioner Rasp.
Here.
Commissioner Imami.
Here.
Commissioner Chinakotla.
Here.
Commissioner Debling.
Here.
And Chair Rue.
Here.
And then Mayor, Mr. Hudis has joined us. So Councilmember Risto.
Here.
Councilmember Hudis.
Here.
Councilmember Badami.
Here.
Mayor Sayak.
Here.
Vice Mayor Rennie. And Mr. Hudis, your video is off. If you would like to turn it on, please.
Sure, I'm working on it. I'll get it in a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you again. And as I mentioned, we'd love to be able to spend the hour with the Youth Commission. We do have the staff report that was prepared. Before we begin, I do want to acknowledge the staff liaisons that have been working with all of you, Jackie Rose and Captain Fields. And so I do want to acknowledge them. And I oftentimes allow you guys to coordinate how your presentation will go. But Chair Rue, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Hi, thank you to all of the council members who came here today. Thank you to Ms. Provetti and Ms. Nice, and obviously Jackie and Captain Field, all of the commissioners who are coming here today. Super excited to have this little presentation and just go over our work with you guys.
And actually, Sasha, before I hand the floor over to you, I do have to take care of logistics. I forgot, we skipped over verbal communications. And so let me just double check to those that are in attendance in our public. If you would like to speak to us on an item that is specific to the Youth Commission accomplishment and goals, now's the time to do so. There's no need to, you don't have to, and I see no hands raised. So with that, I will close public testimony, bring it back to our hearing. And Chair Rue, sorry for that interruption.
Don't worry at all. But yeah, if we just want to start, we have a little slideshow prepared. Just go with our little staff report.
So Sasha, are you ready for that to be shown?
Yeah, we're good to share that right now. All right, so if we go to the first slide, sorry, this is meant for later. I know it's a little confusing.
Was there another presentation you needed shared?
Oh, sorry, no, that video just comes at the end of the presentation.
All right.
No, sorry, I think I should have specified.
It was a PowerPoint.
I can send the link to our PowerPoint if that helps. Actually, I will email it.
And while Chair Rue is sending that to Shelley, I want to open it up to our council members. If there's any immediate questions or comments that you'd like to make based on what you've read so far in the staff report or your own observations of what the youth have been doing in our community to date. And so, Councilmember Badami.
I would just like to say thank you to all of you. It's just a delight to see you and look at all your achievements and accomplishments throughout the year. I look forward to hearing more about them, especially the chef-inspired cooking class and the Letters of Kindness events. So again, thank you for your civic involvement. I look forward to your leadership going forward.
Thank you. And Councilmember Risto.
Yes, I want to thank all of you as well. And I was thrilled to see that well, first of all, with all of the accomplishments you've had in the past year and what you've done, I just want to thank the Youth Commission because you are so progressive and forward thinking and just represent so much energy in this community that the initiatives you've brought forth in the past have really been strong positives in our community. The other thing is I was very happy to see that there was positive feedback and a desire to continue serving on the adult commissions, because I remember when that was new to add a youth commissioner to each of the adult commissions. I had the wonderful pleasure of serving on the BPAC and the Transportation and Parking Commission and the Complete Streets Commission with some of you, and having that energy and perspective was so helpful to a lot of our decision making, you know, that I so appreciate that. You are ambassadors to our community, you're ambassadors to our commissions. And, you know, I can't wait to see what you do next. And I'm looking forward to our next group of youth commissioners. So thank you.
And I know, again, while we're waiting for the PowerPoint presentation, 2 items were raised based on the staff report, the chef-inspired cooking class. And so would anyone like to speak to that? And 1, is it going to continue? And 2, to provide some promo of how one can learn more about it. Who'd like to do that? Just raise your hand.
Can I just ask if the slideshow is maybe ready to share now? Because we have some photos and some info
You do?
on that.
Okay.
It is ready, so I'll share it now.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, take it away.
Okay. All right. So yeah, if you click present in the corner, it's right next to that yellow button. Oh, sorry, in the right-hand corner. Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, thank you for coming. I am the chair of the Youth Commission currently. My name is Sasha. I'm a senior at Los Gatos High School. Izzy is our vice chair. She's also a senior at Los Gatos High. And then Captain Field is here as our LG MSPD advisor, and Jackie is here as our advisor, and she also works with the police department. So before we go into our achievements and our goals from this year, I just want to introduce you all to who we are as a commission, what we do. So currently there are 20 youth commissioners serving, and our at our core, we are here to serve as a voice for the community's youth. We're here to provide to work on projects that align with the council's strategic goals in the town, again, specifically using our youth perspective and the ways that we're involved with other youth in the community. So if we go on to our next slide, we can go on to some of the more specific roles that we have in our commission. So we have 5 liaisons in total. As Councilmember Ristow mentioned earlier, they visit the adult commissions for all of their meetings. Anjali works with arts and culture. Jack works with the library board. Arshio works with the senior service commission. If we go on to the next slide, we just didn't want to make their faces too small, but Cameron works with parks and Adam works in Complete Streets. And I was actually on Complete Streets for a couple of years with Maria. Very fun. But this work is super fun to do, super important, because we get to go to these adult commissions that are making serious decisions that will affect our everyday life, and we get to provide them with our youth perspective, and that informs their work with the town. So it's a huge honor. And then our next slide about our roles, our chairs and advisors. Isabella and I, our chair and vice chair, and Jackie and Chief are our year-round advisors. Chief DeSena and Miss Fields or Captain Field work with us. So there's a lot of collaboration with the police department. So now going into our subcommittee work, almost all of our work as the youth commission is completed through these subcommittees. And if we go to the next slide, our first subcommittee is teen wellness. So in the past years, we have done letters of kindness events. You'll see that on the left. We have like hundreds every year. And then we also promote Mental Health Awareness Day, letters of kindness. We get a bunch of youth commissioners to visit classrooms at the high school and go into town, go to the church, wherever there are people who are willing to write letters of gratitude to somebody they know, and then we hand deliver them. And then for Mental Health Awareness Day, we just pass out these green ribbons. We ask people to reflect on their mental health, their loved one's mental health. And it's mostly just like a conversation starter and a nice time to reflect on the important things. And some of these we've had to like convert to a format that works virtually, but our goal is to resume the more in-person versions in the future. If we go to the next slide, that's still teen wellness. But one thing that we just wanted to talk about are our annual puppy therapy events. We usually have 2 every year, one during final season, and then one during the time when high school seniors are getting their college acceptances and rejections. So sort of an emotional time and a great time for the dogs to come in. We obviously couldn't do it this year, but that's another goal, to continue that work. So if we go on to the next slide, this is going to be a new subcommittee. It's our community outreach committee. I think Councilmember, I don't want to butcher your last name, it's Badame. You mentioned that you were really looking forward to this part, and that's great because the community outreach subcommittee has been able to organize these like virtual cooking events where a local business, a local restaurant specifically, will come up with a recipe that people can do in their own homes. And the last time we had one, over 80 people attended and made this recipe, and they all ate the same meal virtually. So it was really, really special, super huge accomplishment. Robert Stanley is one of our leads. So like, thank you, Robert, for doing that. It was really nice. And we have another one set up in the future, specifically with like a environmentally friendly menu, just to like sort of touch on other things that our commission is passionate about. You can also see that we're doing a little bit of outreach for our smoking ordinance. handing out these decals to local businesses. This was right before the shutdown when we finished this work, so that's great. So you'll see some of our former members in these photos too. But if we move forward, oh, I should also mention that with community outreach in the past, we've done this Valentine's Day talent show at the Terraces, which is like a senior living community in town. I'm sure you guys know about it, but we just played some music for the community. It was really nice. So we want to do that in the future as well. For our environmental subcommittee, in the past, we've hosted these super fun events called like Spring into Green, handed out succulents and celebrated Earth Day. We obviously couldn't do it this year, but one super cool project that we did is working on a straw ban ordinance. So basically like a plastic straw ban. We've been working with a local Girl Scout troop and doing a lot of research, working with experts from across the country, trying to figure out the best way to implement this. And then currently we're doing outreach with local businesses to make sure that they have a say in every step of the process, because this is obviously something that focuses on their behavior and how they can help the environment. So we're really looking forward to that. We're also helping, we're creating outreach so that local businesses have access to resources from the state on how they can reduce water use, reduce use of harmful chemicals, reduce energy waste, all of that. So that's a huge money saver, and it's also really great for our town's carbon footprint. So that's all super meaningful work that we do with the environmental subcommittee. And our last subcommittee, if we go on to the next slide, we'll see it's called Social Justice and Equity. So all of these photos on the next two slides are from events that happened pre-quarantine, but we just wanted to give you guys an idea of what they look like, because we already have plans to do it as soon as things officially reopen. We had a little holiday event for local children and families with autism and disabilities, and it was really nice to just arrange an event that was catered to their needs, catered to their interests. So we made cookies, Santa visited. It was very fun, very magical. We've also hosted these showcases where we get some of the performing arts aspect of cultural diversity introduced to our town's youth. And if we go on to the next slide, it's just more photos, but very sweet. Just had to include it. The kid's really cute. And at this point, I'm gonna hand it off to Isabella Devling, our vice chair, and also the lead of social justice equity, to talk about some of our more specific projects. So yeah.
Thank you, Sasha. Also, thank you so much to everyone for being here today. If we could please go to the next slide. I will be discussing SNAP today. So the SNAP program stands for the Special Needs Awareness Program. But before jumping in to the video, I would really love to share the personal connection I have to this. One evening, I received a distress phone call, and the 17-year-old boy I have mentored for 4 years on the autism spectrum had an unpleasant experience with the police. So at that moment, I realized that this wasn't an isolated incident. So inspired to find a solution, I kind of conceived some ideas to find and source a program that within the town of Los Gatos that could aid these individuals. I designed a bracelet to assist field personnel in visually identifying a program participant. And so if the participant in the program is having trouble making eye contact or is nonverbal, the bracelet helps first responders respond with compassion and understanding, in the hopes that the instance between individuals with developmental disabilities and police officers becomes a very rare occurrence. So if you could please play the video now, it goes over the logistics with regards to the program.
Unfortunately, we can't hear it.
Shelley, can we try the one that you had separate?
I think what you have to do is like go into your Zoom settings and then click the share audio box. Like, maybe while Shelley's working on that, we can go over a little bit more about what we want to do with Snap in the future.
Go ahead.
Can you hear it now?
That's a lot better, yes.
Address the needs of people with cognitive and physical disabilities. Applicants can provide an emergency contact and share helpful information with the department, such as their preferred method of communication. Applicants also have the opportunity to share how they respond to touch or verbal commands, and if they're sensitive to bright lights or loud noises.
The information and photo provided in the application will be entered into our confidential computer-aided dispatch system. When a call for service is placed, a SNAP participant's name or address will be used to identify who they are and how best to accommodate their needs.
Having prior knowledge of a person's special needs will assist our police officers and emergency personnel in resolving calls for assistance in a safer and more effective manner for everyone involved.
When you or a family member signs up, a SNAP bracelet is supplied free of charge. When worn, this bracelet will further assist field personnel in visually identifying program participants.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I am ecstatic to share with you that we currently have 8 members in this program, and our goals are to continue to grow, engaging new members through outreach. We would also like to partner with the Santa Clara County Fire Department. This was brought to our attention by another one of our commissioners. So we have a lot of goals for this, and I'm super excited to see it grow. And then if you could go to the next slide, please, that would be fantastic.
Just a moment, please.
Okay.
While we wait, I forgot to say this earlier, but the commission is currently organizing a blood drive to happen over the summer. So if you guys are in a medically safe position to donate, hospitals are low. So yay, we're going to do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. And me and one of our other commissioners, Silpa, were involved with this. And basically you volunteer for a total of 21 hours and you learn how to prepare for hazards that can impact a specific area, and you learn exactly how to respond to them. So for instance, fire safety, light search and rescue, team organization, and medical operations. So we were very fortunate to volunteer and get this experience. And I would like to hand it back to Sasha now. Thank you.
Yeah, so that is our presentation. And at this point, we can open this up to any questions from the council.
Okay, and so council, similar to last, and commissioners, we'd love to hear from you as well. So if anyone first would like to ask questions, I'll go to my council colleagues first, and then as those questions are raised, anyone from the commission who'd like to answer, just raise your hand as well. Councilmember Risto.
Thank you. I have a question for Izzy for the SNAP program, which I can attest for a variety of reasons sounds so amazing, because I know people with special needs children, and sometimes adults can get really frustrated if a child doesn't look them in the eye, they don't understand what's going on. What was your inspiration? I mean, are there similar programs elsewhere, or did you completely conceive of this? Or, I mean, it's just so helpful.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, I came up with the idea of the bracelet kind of in like visually identifying, and then I brought that to Chief's attention, and then he got me in touch with Jackie, who was figuring out how to, I believe, adopt a program into the town of Los Gatos. So it was a real team effort. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, there's so much the Youth Commission does, but this is something that really is part of our community policing and just can reduce one more friction point and make life easier for everybody. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And my follow-up question to that is there an ability to help promote it? We each have different avenues within our community circles. And so is there a way we can help you promote this and help the PD promote this as well?
Yeah, so now the video is complete. We're hoping to put it on all of our platforms, including Nextdoor, the YouTube channel, Facebook, and our social media platforms too. But we're always open to hear more ideas, maybe potentially putting it in the newspaper as well. But if you have any ideas, please send them our way. And we're just really grateful to be able to put them on those. So thank you.
Wonderful. Ms. Pravetti.
Thank you. I just had a suggestion. I'm so delighted that the commission has accomplished so much, and I'm really excited about your work on banning plastic straws. In terms of promoting the SNAP project, I was wondering, since many of you are liaisons to the adult commissions, this would be a wonderful program for adults as well, who may have some challenges and could also benefit. So while it certainly benefits our youth, I think we might have adults in the community who could also benefit from having this a little bit more empathy towards their individual circumstances. So as you continue to liaison with the adults, please feel free to promote this program. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilmember Badami.
My question, it may be for staff or maybe for one of our youth commissioners. Where did the funding come from for the bracelets and for the pamphlets for the SNAP program? Anybody?
Who'd like to take that one? I see no hands raised. I see Captain Field's video on.
Yes, I actually wanted to ask Jackie to respond to that, since she really spearheaded this and collaborated with the Youth Commission and Chief on this.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So the funding for the bracelets was approved by the PD. However, I found a lady in Florida who has a special needs child and was finding a way to keep track. And when they ran off, that there would be a way for them to be found. And she wanted something that was nice to touch for autism children. And so hence the soft, it's not plastic, it's a rubber. It's a very soft rubber and a very soft metal. So we worked together on coming up with a bracelet that would fit the needs of our community. And she was amazing, and she just charged for the cost of the bracelet. So we were really lucky that it just, research on Etsy is how I found them.
Well, thank you for that. I think it's terrific. It's a terrific program. So thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. Any other questions? And I'm going to pose this to the commissioners. Is there any questions you have of us, either as you graduate and move on to post-high school goals, or for those that are remaining on the Youth Commission or looking at other ways to better serve their community? Do you have any questions of us? Okay, I see none. And oh yes, Arshia.
Just wondering if there's anything in specific all of you hope to see from the Youth Commission in these next few years.
That's a great question. And so I'm going to go to Councilmember Badami first.
I'm going to hope to see council members, planning commissioners, leaders, period, mayors. That's what I'm looking forward to from all of you. Thank you.
And Arshia, the priorities that have been identified in the staff report, I mean, those are definitely priorities that the council has also said are important to us. And so I appreciate that the commission, as well as your staff liaisons, have been consistent in making sure that we continue to work together so that we can address and achieve some of our goals. So I think in the future, I'd love just communication. And if there's any ways we can continue to help you as you help us, please let us know, because that's the best way for us to better understand how we can better serve all of you. Councilmember Hudis.
Thank you. I'm just learning about all the work that the Youth Commission is doing, and I've had the opportunity to meet a couple of you as I was participating in other commissions and committees around town, and I'm, to say, very impressed. I wanted to ask a little bit of a general question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but it's a long time since my kids were in the high school. And I think it's really important for the town and town leadership to have a window into the issues in high school. And I don't know if anyone would like to comment, but I would really be interested in hearing what are the top one or two kind of things that are top of mind about getting back to school, about the environment in the high school, and are there any sort of surprises coming out of all this time and then coming back? So it may be a little bit off, but I am really interested in a window into what's going on in high school.
Let's start with Sasha, and then let's go to Quincy.
First off, thank you for asking. It's really nice to see that our council is like interested in hearing directly from us. It's obviously a really uncomfortable thing to discuss, but I feel like I should say something, especially because this is like my last meeting, so I should just, be completely honest. I don't know if any of you have seen this, but there's been a pretty significant number of students and alumni who've come forward as survivors of sexual violence. And the stories that I've heard from a lot of my classmates and friends is that coming forward as a student is really difficult, and it's just a really complicated situation that, our school just hired a Title IX coordinator. It's been a really rough time for everybody to try to address this, but I think it would be nice if the council got involved in addressing that in some way too. I know that Mariko actually helped us ensure that our sit-in was really peaceful this summer. So just more involvement from, I guess, just knowing that that is an issue for a lot of students, men and women, boys and girls at our school, is just really meaningful to me, at least.
Thank you. I know it's a difficult situation, and I know you all are pretty brave in some of the actions that you're taking these days. So, thanks.
Quincy and the Darshia.
I just would want to say that I know high school is like a super social environment where throughout the day you like socialize and talk to a lot of people. So I know for a lot of my peers and students, coming back to high school after a year of just being alone in your room on Zoom could be like a super stressful time. So just coming up with ways to like ease into the transition and make them feel more welcome coming back to school would be like a super important part.
Absolutely, thank you. Or
Thank
she
you.
is.
Yeah, of course. And just adding on to that, I think we learned that a lot of people this year learn differently. There's some people who learn better online and some people who learn better in person. So I think possibly having both modes of learning or maybe creating a little bit more of a hybrid type of learning situation would be really helpful to students in like maximizing their performance in school.
Thank you.
For bringing that. I know one of our priorities is to ensure that everyone feels included and that we have an inclusive community. We often talk about Los Gatos High School, but we know that many of our residents also attend some of the other high schools, public as well as private. So just, I'm curious by a show of hands, do we have any Lee or Westmont students? And then if not, I know we have St. Francis, any Bellarmine, Midi, what other private schools are there?
We have a Bellarmine. We have two, Owen and Lucas.
Okay. Okay. And then so Lucas, I know, would you like to share any? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I think we'd like to know how all of our students are feeling, and if there's any way we can help publicize some of the activities and opportunities to your schools, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like similar issues for like mental health, just transitioning, whether it's like everyone's very excited to go back or like it's different people's reactions to coming back. But either way, it's going to like be a difficult toll on people, like just a giant transition. And especially like different years, it's all very stressful. So I think just like mental health and like outreach, making sure everyone has like different ways they can vent their frustrations is like a good solution.
Thank you.
And any other comments and or questions, colleagues on the council as well as on the commission? And also ask the opportunity, would Jackie and Jamie like to say anything as well?
It was wonderful having the opportunity to meet with this group earlier to hear some of the community engagement, their thoughts, ideas, and just some of the enrichment that they brought throughout the community over the last year and where they're headed into this next year. I know that we're going to be missing 12 and 8 due to graduation, which congratulations to them. But we have another group of 12 eager youth members that are looking forward to being a part of this group. So thank you.
Thank you, Captain.
Oh, I just want to say how much it's a pleasure working with these kids for the last, I don't know, 13 years or since 2004. And it's a pleasure. It's not work. So they continue to amaze me, and I know that they're going to be doing good things for this community. And I look forward to 2022 so we can get these projects going in full swing. So thank you all. Thanks for taking the time to be a part of this commission as well.
Thank you. And Sasha, I saw you raise your hand, so I don't want you to think that I forgot about you. Sasha Bullis.
I was just gonna say to the question brought earlier about different schools, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we have any middle schoolers here, but I know the middle schools, especially like the upper grades in middle school, also deal with a lot of the similar situations that the high schools are dealing with. So just providing that, when I know you mentioned if there's any way to give outreach to the Bellarmine schools about the programs we do, just to also extend that to also the middle schools in our best ability, because I feel like that's also really important, especially when they're transitioning to high school, because I know the jump from a lot of 8th graders to high school this year was really rough on them, since they were just completely online and then they just went straight into back in school and they were just really kind of confused as to what they were doing. So just extending that program to not only the high schools but also the middle schools is really important too. But that's all.
Absolutely, and thank you for reminding us of that, because they're the ones that are maybe experiencing the biggest transition next year. So I appreciate that reminder. Okay, before I close and adjourn tonight's meeting, again, we'll have an opportunity during the council hearing to thank those that are outgoing. And thank you again to all of you for showing up today. I know it's the last week of school, so I'm gonna let you take this break. And we look forward to just seeing the great work that you continue to do for our community. You guys are all very, very inspiring. Thank you so much. Meeting adjourned.